Peace, quick little think fast. Just realizing how being a perfectionist is basically like a fear of being vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? In the sense of, you know, I don't want to, you know, be vulnerable to, like, say for instance, to have a chance to look bad, or like I want to make sure I'm perfect so nobody has no room to criticize. So I don't want to be vulnerable. Like it has that essence behind it. And what made me think about that, somebody that asked me about, if I'm teaching classes, and I realized how much people, and this is not about like petting my ego or none of this, but like realizing how much, people send me messages of like, bro, I'm learning from your videos, things of this nature. But like, within my little realm, that perfectionist, like, bro, like, it's like I wouldn't even want to start a class because I feel like I have to be perfect, or know everything. Like, as much as, it's funny because as much as I put out videos with a certain level of confidence, I do still have that perfectionist vibe where, say for instance, some things that I can speak on that I don't, because it's like I feel like I don't perfectly know everything about it. So I don't want to, be vulnerable, or, in essence, not trying to speak on it, because again, like, and that's also like that Capricorn energy of not trying to be vulnerable and also not trying to be shamed. Matter of fact, that's why a lot of cases, like with relationships, that Cap energy, in most cases, you'll be a loner, because you're basically fearing vulnerability. You're being scared of being vulnerable. And again, it pushed me to share this video because of how sneaky this little situation is. And right now we breaking down all these little fearful constructs, any little things that we're fearful of, or that we, in so many words, scared to do, is as much as possible in all areas, just constantly expanding our comfort zone. And again, for myself, realizing to, step out of that always trying to be a perfectionist vibe and, go with the flow. And again, I do it, but, it's just still, some work to do within that area. And I acknowledge it and realize it and continuously work on it. But nothing is wrong with being vulnerable. And as I say that, of course, on the flip side, say for instance, dealing with sharing information, being vulnerable don't mean just putting out any old information. Like, of course, I want to make sure the information is right. Like, you're not just spewing anything in that essence. Or like, say for instance, when I do speak on stuff that may not be in books or whatever, I get that disclaimer, about, hey, this is from my inner knowledge, but again, like, it's all right to not be perfect all the time. Because another area where it, where it messes with me is in decision making. Because I try to be so perfect, let me perfectly do this, let me perfectly do that. And you start to realize you'll drive yourself crazy trying to perfectly, especially when it's coming from, again, because in most cases, trying to do things perfect kind of comes from that practicality of the logical mind and that masculine mind, and trying to, like micromanage, like everything perfect. And that's, again, you'll find out quickly that, perfectionists do, following your inner flow, following your inner guidance, tapping into that feminine energy. And again, it's a balance between the feminine and masculine energies, but they work in a symbiotic relationship. Like we tap into our inner guidance first and foremost, and then we use, our logic or our mind to take care of things, or or we use our actions. We receive on a magnetic level. We go within, receive that inner guidance. Receive that intuition, and then act upon it. And there's a balance, between those two, aspects. But again, it's no perfect, like trying to do everything perfect. You realize, like, oh, let me go on the perfect store run. I'm gonna get all the, the things that, like, again, just trying to micromanage from a mental level, and again, in most cases, perfection, again, has that its roots in essence in logic and in masculine energy, you know. So just being aware to be vulnerable, you know, because a lot of people may be sitting down right now, you know, not creating that first YouTube video, or not, you know, and again, that's also because I just caught it, even for music, you know what I'm saying? It's like you're not going. That's why it would take me so long, like, to write songs, you know. Like, I don't know how many times, you know, I could have been on some little songs with my partners, but I'm sitting there trying to, like, oh, scratch that out, scratch that out. I know I gotta make sure this line perfect. And then everybody in the booth dropping their little verses, and I'm still on the first line. You know, because it again, it's that level of perfection and being scared of vulnerability, you know, and not, you know, and to a certain extent not trusting or not being confident that, you know, things will flow in a way that, you know, that supports you. You know, it's like, trust the universe, trust that things will flow in a supportive way. You know, you don't have to perfect, you know, perfectly micromanage every little aspect of, you know, what you're dealing with or what you're doing, you know. Again, and that's another route to analysis paralysis, you know, as well. But just wanted to share that little aspect again, you know, getting that perfectionist vibe. It's a little key, you know, fearful of being vulnerable, you know. And again, it's a balance with anything. Of course, some things we're gonna manage on a certain level where, you know, it will have a certain level of perfection to it, you know. And again, excuse me, the real perfection is accepting the you know, that we are unperfect, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like our imperfections is what makes us perfect, you know, or more so the acceptance of our, you know, imperfections is what makes us, you know, perfection. But just wanted to share that right quick. Again, don't be scared to be vulnerable. You know, sometimes, again, that's a part of the thing, like, because you realize too, like, you go through trying to micromanage, you still fuck up. So what's the point of wrecking your brain on trying to perfect everything, you know, driving yourself crazy? You still gonna not do it as perfect as you plan, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, why not just, you know, practice, you know, being more vulnerable and having that, you know, that balance. Yeah, but it's basically just want to, you know, share that aspect. I keep checking down, make sure I said, you see that perfection is like, make sure I said everything. Peace. Happy now the vibrate, of course. Not going too far in the future. Not going too far in the past.